I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you all for joining us. We've closed this session now only for existing and former clients and anyone that has used any of our apps like Templify and anyone that may have gotten the invite through a Monday.com manager. And for those of you potentially meeting us for the first time, Workiflow is a Monday.com Platinum partner and this year's recipient of the Rising Star Award. So we've had the pleasure to service about 1,000 clients now from many different industries, and we have also become one of Mondays.com fastest growing partner. So you could basically say we're Monday.com fanatics, and now that our team has grown to about 40 people, we've almost turned into a cult. But don't worry, I'm not gonna have you guys sign up for anything crazy. Just want to make sure you guys get something from this, something actionable, and that at the end of the day, you also feel like you're AI experts. So with that being said, I guess we can just go ahead and kind of jump right in. So if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by like the rapid updates in AI, you're not alone. AI feels like it's moving at the speed of light, and we're constantly learning and adapting to new releases. And because Monday.com is committed to the best user experience, that's why there's so many changes and updates that are currently happening. And Monday does want to ensure that you kind of reap the rewards of that advanced functionality, which is why these updates keep happening continually. But this is a little bit of a symptom of the ecosystem, not just within Monday. I think AI as a whole is continually evolving and changing. And so we're seeing this across all different types of platforms. And Claude, as an industry expert and as an industry leader, you can see this happening as well. So I know that it feels a little bit overwhelming. And I think that the worst part is that we kind of hear all the time, like, oh, we're going to have flying cars soon in the near future. I'm sure you heard it if you ever watched the Jetsons. So that's the bad news. But the good news is that Monday.com has made it possible to at least have your little team of Rosie, the robots, working to extract that data, clean up the operations, and even take action within your account. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, do know that these things are very easy to start implementing today, and you'll actually be able to reap those rewards pretty quickly. So let's talk about what these updates mean for your team. Since Monday.com is rapidly transforming from a work management platform to an AI first work platform, it's focusing on leveraging AI to expedite and execute those tasks. And this enables companies to scale, move faster, and win bigger in increasingly competitive environments, giving you access to intuitive and easy to adopt tools for all backgrounds. And the best part is there is no tech degree required. So I know that there have been a lot of product sessions that have been available for you through the Monday.com channel directly. But something we have been hearing from our clients is that it can be difficult to carve out time to learn from each and every one of them. So we decided to kind of consolidate everything into like one single session and kind of give you a level and simplified overview of what each release can do for you and even learn how to start implementing it. But I know this is very, very important. I do want to touch on governance and information security first because I have heard that this is also a pretty big concern for a lot of our clients. I mean, no one really wants their data out there in the black market. At least for me, I don't want my social security or any personal information out there. So I'm sure you also don't want your company's information on the black market either, right? So that's why Monday.com has implemented multiple layers of security and moderation to ensure safe and reliable AI experiences. And what's cool is that this is built on top of an already proven infrastructure. So you don't have to be afraid to experiment. These safety guardrails ensure that you don't break your workflows by trying out all these new features. So you basically get to ride the bike with training wheels and not be afraid of falling over. So no input or output is used to train machine learning models. It's all your data. But now we get to the fun stuff. I would say the juicy part of the presentation, which is, in my opinion, we're starting off with a bang. Monday Vibe. It's one of my favorite tools of all time that Monday has released. It I know that Monday already is a pretty flexible and modular solution. You have versatile dashboards and boards and automations you can build, but sometimes you want to see data in like a much more custom way, or as we'll explore later, build incredibly powerful workflows and applications you didn't even know was possible. So instead of relying on a whole full stack dev team to build something for you over the course of weeks or months, Monday created Vibe to give you the ability to turn plain text into a custom app that fits your workflows and your data. So no coding experience required. All you have to do is describe what you want, and AI generates it. So you can make some fine adjustments or little tweaks within a chat box and without having to manually edit a single line of code. It's all done for you. So let's dive into the possibilities within Vibe and the cost savings that come with it. Also, Kiki, thank you for fixing the chat. So now we can all chat after the presentation. So I wanted to show you like the art of the possible. This is something that we built 9 months ago. It's a video game inside of Monday.com, like a Roblox or a Minecraft, if you ever heard of that. So it's like a little open world where you can actually use your mouse and keyboard to like interact and move around. And those blocks that you're seeing are actually tasks, and the colors signify like what type of responsibility or who it may be potentially assigned to. And again, this is something that we built when Vibe first released 9, 10 months ago. So you can only imagine where we're going to be in the future and even where we are right now compared to then.
Hi everyone.
Oh, sorry. And before I forget to say, and before we continue, there is a quick demo of one of my team members, Ramel, that actually gave you or built out an industry agnostic use case, a Vibe coding the competitor insights dashboard. So let's jump right in.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Ramil and I've been working within the Monday.com ecosystem for about 4 years now, helping teams across a wide range of industries get more out of the work operating system. In this example, we have a competitor analysis board and we even leverage some of the AI columns here for competitive advantage. Sometimes you just want a custom view of that data, something that tells a story at a glance, but you don't have a development team on hand who can build that for you. That's exactly the problem Monday.com set out to solve. What you're looking at right now is what we call a fully Vive coded application built directly inside Monday.com. No developers required, and the use case here is one that every business can relate to: competitor analysis. Keeping a pulse on your competitive landscape is critical. Monday Vibe lets you turn your raw board data into a rich, interactive experience, all without writing a single line of code. In this use case, our client wanted a real-time market intelligence dashboard. So let me walk you through what's been built here. Up here at the top, you can see a high-level summary of the competitive landscape, key metrics, market positioning, and at a glance overview of where our clients stand. This section right here is the threat landscape. It's visually mapping out the biggest competitive threats and ranking them by severity. So instead of digging through rows of data, leadership gets an instant visual on where to focus their attention. Each icon and visual on this dashboard was designed to surface the data that matters most to this particular client. But the beauty of Vive is that you can fully customize this for your own business model and priorities. Now, this is one of my personal favorite features of this build, and I want to make sure you see it: the battle cards. Battle cards are a go-to tool for sales teams. At a glance, they show you how you stack up against a specific competitor, your strengths, their weaknesses, key differentiators, and how to position against them in a conversation. Having them inside Monday.com tied directly to your live board data means your team always has up-to-date competitive intel right at their fingertips. So no more digging through outdated PDFs or shared drives. Now, here's what I really want you to take note of. Creating this entire application was as simple as giving Monday back a plain text prompt and bringing the dashboard to life. So you'll see I provided it with detailed information on how I want to view this data, what it needs to capture, and how it needs to be displayed, but without a single line of code. At the top, you will see the app goal. This is where you tell Vive what you're trying to build and why. Think of it like briefing a developer, except it's AI and it's instant. Then below that, we have the data context. This pretty much tells Vive which board it's pulling from, which column matters, and how to interpret the data. The more context you give it, the smarter and more tailored your output will be. And finally, the display instructions. How should this information be visualized? Cards, charts, a threat matrix. You describe it in plain language, and Vive builds it. This is the power of Monday Vive. Any team member can do this, not technical background required. Now back to you, Danny.
Awesome. So, by the way, that was a pretty in-depth description. It doesn't have to be that crazy. You can literally start by saying, I just need a dashboard and I need the data to be viewed in this way. And so what's cool is that taking that same functionality, it gives us a lot of flexibility to now do something else. So in this case, using Harvest within Monday, or in this case, more exactly, replacing Harvest with Monday Vibe. So we were able to code the full functionality of Harvest into Monday simply by prompting it correctly to replicate the interface. And we understand some teams don't want to move away from what they know, which is what inspired us to see what was even possible. And this gives you the power to change the way it looks. Our client said, we don't like the way the UI of Harvest looks, but we need the functionality. And that's how this Vibe app was born. And that's kind of the point, right? Is that we get the flexibility of having everything in one single location, fully native inside of Monday, and gives you the power to essentially add and change and slice and dice the information in the way that your team actually needs it. So it feels like Monday's molding to you rather than you molding into Monday. So what does this mean though in terms of ROI? Because I'm a business owner and I care a lot about money. Well, if we did a little bit of simple math, we see that each user is about $11 a month for platform access. So when your team starts to grow, so does your cost. So $10 a month is about 110 bucks a month, or 10 users a month is $110 a month, which is about compared to Vibe, it's only $100 a month. This means that a team of about 50 people save about $6,000 and a team of 100 people save about $12,000 a year, which is clearly not a small sack of potatoes. And so Vibe gives you the scaling teams need for a consistent and transparent price that doesn't just keep compounding as you grow, meaning that you get to give back the money to reinvest into other areas of your business with the same functionality and the improved user experience of connected data. And this isn't just exclusive to Harvest. Think about the possibilities of consolidating your tech stack even further while leveraging the information stored within your Monday.com workspaces. And hey, since Monday loves to bring package values, Monday starts with 10 Vibe apps. So imagine what you can do with 9 other apps, all replacing other tools and having them live inside of Monday.com. But there are a few key takeaways that I really want to make sure we hammer because I want to make sure that we have this mentality moving forward, not just for this presentation, but just the way tech is evolving as a whole. First one is there's a misconception that tech or just technology in general is growing linearly. It's actually growing exponentially. It's not an intuitive thought, so I'm going to give you a quick thought experiment. Imagine you have a pond full of algae, and we know that at the end of day 30, it's growing up to 1 billion algae or organisms. And you know that algae doubles in organisms every day. So at what day do you think they'll reach the halfway point or 500 million? Most people would say 15 or maybe 20 days. But in reality, since we know that algae is doubling every day, it means that on day 29, it would be at 500 million. So that when it doubles, it'll be at 1 billion on day 30. And then day 31 is 2 billion and then on day 32, it'll be 4 billion. And this is the rate at which AI technology is advancing. Imagine where we're going to be in 3, 6, or especially in 12 months. This means it's our responsibility to keep up so we don't fall behind. And the other thing I want to just make sure we hammer is that even though this is innovative, think about one of our most revolutionary inventions, fire. It doesn't have to be some crazy rocket ship that you have to build in this moment. There are a lot of solutions and gaps that you find in your business that are usually 1 to 3 hours of effort. You don't need to completely change the way that you're working overnight. And I know because I studied aerospace engineering, and this doesn't have to be rocket science. So the final piece that I just want to say is like, don't be afraid to start. You're not going to learn until you actually do it. And if you feel like you're scared to get started, we've already built a prompt guide for you that our head of marketing will share that after this recording, once it's ready to be presented. So now let's talk about AI agents. This is actually something that I'm pretty interested right now because it's similar to vibe coding where you're essentially prompting or creating chats with a specific tool that then can take action not just on an application level, but on a workflow level. And that's what agents essentially do. They do the work for you from start to finish without you having to lift a finger. And this is where Monday stops being a platform you work in and starts being a platform that works for you. So pre-built agents span across a translator research, a lead qualifier, a reference collector, a sentiment detector. I mean, I highly encourage that you look at their already pre-built agents just so you can get an idea of what they work after this webinar. And so when it comes to building an agent, it's as simple as prompting the agent when the actions you need to carry it out, connecting them to tools and informations they need, and then adjusting it as you go. And one of our experts, Ruin, is actually going to give you a more in-depth demo of not only how to set this up, but just how powerful they can be within your workflows.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ron, and I spend most of my days on sales calls, showing people how far Monday.com can take them. And look, I could sit here all day and talk about it, or I could just show you something I actually built myself in just a few hours. Her name is Arya, automated response and intelligent agent, and she's about to make you question why you still have humans answering your emails and closing your tickets. Let's get into it. Every time an email comes in, whether it's a quote request, question, or complaint, someone has to read it, find the contact, build the deal, write a reply, and then update the ticket. That takes a lot of time. So let's go meet Arya. This is Arya. 5 steps, plain English instructions, built natively inside Monday.com. She doesn't sleep, she doesn't miss emails, and she definitely doesn't need a coffee break. Watch. Every time the email comes in, it's a brand new contact. Never heard of them. Arya reads the email, classifies it as a quote request, creates the contact for us, builds the deal, assigns it to the right territory rep, and sends the customer a professional reply and pings the rep inside Monday. All of that in about 8 seconds. Let's go take a look. And remember, I didn't touch anything. So there's our contact, everything over there. And look, even the account was created and the deal value shows on the contacts board already. And the role is already assigned. I didn't touch anything. Keep that in mind. Let's go look at the deal. And here is the deal. Isn't that amazing? Already built. Let's go take a look at the email already sent out. We have received your request for all of these things. Nice, well structured. Gives them a lead time, when they can expect the quote, and look forward to the partnering. Great quality every single time. And that was just a quote request, the juicy one. But Arya handles everything, whether it's a question, just a normal quote request, or an issue. She answers it all from the knowledge base and closes the ticket. Complaint? She figures out how bad it is, sets the priority for us, and tells the customer exactly when they'll hear back. No guessing. And like I said, I did not touch anything, and it's the same quality every single time. And here's the part I love the most. This is how you build it. You tell the agent what to do, which boards to connect, what rules to follow. No developers, no code, no 6-month implementation. I built Arya myself over a few hours. Your team can do the same thing. And that's exactly the point.
Alrighty, so as you can tell, it's really exciting what Monday has been releasing just because of the power that it has. So I wanted to touch on a few points on that. So I just want to be real with you for a second. Every company right now is trying to figure out their AI strategy, and a lot of them are doing it by bolting on these third-party tools that don't really talk to each other. And so Monday agents are different because they are built inside the system where your work actually lives. And these AI-powered specialists that go beyond supporting tasks to actually doing them from end to end. And here's an analogy I love. You wouldn't hire someone brilliant, sit them at a desk, and neither tell them what to do or check in their work. And agents are the same way. They need context, clear instructions, and someone who understands how to deploy them well. That's exactly the kind of partnership that we have within Workiflow. We don't just hand you the tools, we build the agent that actually helps move the needle for your business. And that's the mentality you need to think about because these agents are almost like living and breathing. You don't just hire this person and give them the tools and then you leave them alone for the next 6 to 12 months. Because your business is evolving, so are the agents. So these agents do need to have continual training and support so that they can grow and evolve with you. Now, I like to think about how Google changed the way that we interact with the information. We went from these clunky terminals to just typing a question and getting exactly what we need. And so Sidekick is this next tool that's doing the same thing. It's being able to essentially work within your data and have all the context centralized. And it's essentially the first agent that Monday released. It's the AI assistant agent, if you want to think of it that way. So instead of digging through all these boards and hunting down the numbers yourself, you just ask and Sidekick pulls everything together faster than any manual process could. And what makes it different from AI assistants that you've tried is that Sidekicks knows who you are, your role, and your context. You don't have to train it or re-explain it yourself every time. It has the full context of your Monday.com account baked right in, proactively suggesting and taking actions on tasks, not just passively waiting to be asked. So now I'm going to show you a quick demo of how Sidekick can help you today.
For our next demo, I want to introduce you to one of the most versatile AI tools in the Monday.com ecosystem, Sidekick. Think of Sidekick as your on-demand AI assistant, a jack of all trades that lives right inside Monday.com and is ready to help with just about anything. As for this example, we have a global customer onboarding tracker board, which has important columns as onboarding status, implementation complexity, onboarding health, estimated revenue, and we also have another AI column here for identifying any risks for the onboarding. So let's start with the SOPs. Let me show you how this works. I'm going to open Sidekick right here in the sidebar, and I'm going to give it a prompt. Here's exactly why I asked it. I told Sidekick to look at the structure of my global customer onboarding tracker board, and from that, create a brand new Monday work doc, a full SOP called Customer Onboarding Excellence. Then I got specific. I asked it to draft a detailed step-by-step procedure for our customer success managers with 3 key sections: initial kickoff, technical configuration, and user training. And for each of those sections, I asked it to define the required status changes on the board and include a checklist for a successful completion. That's the key thing to notice here. I didn't build anything manually. I described what I wanted in plain language and Sidekick handled the rest. The prompt is doing the heavy lifting here. So let's give it a run. And there it is. A fully structured SOP generated in seconds. This is not a generic template. It's built around the actual structure of our board. Once you're happy with the output, you can save this directly as a Monday.com doc, keeping it linked to your work, accessible to your team, and easy to update as processes evolve. Now, let's see what else Sidekick can do for you, because it's not just a document generator, it's also a powerful data analyst. Let's say leadership needs a high-level read on the health of our onboarding pipeline. Instead of manually filtering, pulling reports and summarizing, I'm going to ask Sidekick to do it for me. Here's what I asked. I told Sidekick to analyze the data on my global customer onboarding tracker board, identify the total revenue currently marked as at risk, and summarize the top 3 bottlenecks causing implementation delays. You can see it's doing the analysis in the background. And here is the output. So Sidekick has scanned the entire board, calculated the total at-risk revenue, and surfaced the 3 specific bottlenecks. Teams spend enormous amounts of time searching for answers that already exist inside their own systems. So whether you need to document a process, get a quick read on your data, or just move faster without adding more to your team's plate, Sidekick is there to help.
Amazing. So that's Sidekick. It's pretty straightforward and pretty self-explanatory, and that's kind of the point, right? You don't want to have to, like I mentioned earlier, have to navigate a whole or use a whole rocket ship. The point is that it's something that you can use pretty easily and pretty natively. And so one of the main things I do want to take away is that we're now transitioning away from just looking at the hard numbers and tables to being able to just talk to an assistant to get the same, if not potentially even better quality information that we ourselves couldn't extract. And the beauty of Sidekick is that, again, it has the full context of your Monday.com account. So there's no need to write out your whole bibliography to a random or generic AI model. Instead, Monday has all the context prepared, meaning you can go ahead and start executing in seconds rather than hours. As you can tell, it's literally, how does our Q4 pipeline look like this or by this stage? And now I know I've been saying I'm really excited for this, and it's because I am, but this one actually has a special place in my heart, which is the AI Notetaker. I have developed the sales team on our team, and this is definitely a big gap that I've seen or that we've dealt with for many years. And even more so, our clients have been requesting this feature since like as early as 2021, maybe sometime in 2022. And what's cool is that it's finally here and it's not here to disappoint because it's turning conversations into structured, searchable, and actionable insights. So when you invite an AI note taker to join your meeting, it transcribes conversations in real time and generates concise summaries, transcripts, and action items all within your Monday.com workspace. And because it lives in Monday, those items don't live in some la la land, never to be touched and only waiting to be copied and pasted. They actually land where the work happens. So I'm now going to show you a quick demo by our Ruan expert showcasing this.
Hey everybody, Rowan again, and now I'd like to walk you through AI Notetaker with AI on top of it. Let's take a look. So we all know how these meetings can go. A lot of talking, a lot of reporting, a lot of things going on. What happens to those action items from those meetings? I want you to meet Monday's own AI Notetaker. Built each side of the platform, joins all your meetings automatically and stores everything right over here. Easy to access, easy to look at. Let's go take a look at one of them. We open this one up. We can easily identify your general summary, what pain points were discussed. We can have a look at the full transcript and see who the participants were in that call. We're able to watch it, of course. And even an added bonus is we can ask our Sidekick to identify anything inside of the meeting that we had. Another cool thing is that you can create action items directly from here. But let's take it a step further. Let's go put it into a workflow. So using Monday's AI workflow builder, we went ahead and built something, if I should say, pretty awesome. When the meeting ends, goes ahead and creates a high-level summary of everything that was discussed, goes ahead and creates an item in our board for us, actually calls Nicole. Nicole then goes ahead and extracts all the action items from these meetings, has a look at the attendees, but then we want to do a couple of things based on all of that information. We first identifying, was this a quick call or not a quick call? If it was longer than, let's say, 30 minutes, we're then asking our Sidekick to go ahead and build a report for us of how the call went, who spoke the most, and the overall feeling of the call. It then creates it in a Monday document for us. Then it goes ahead and it writes up an email for us, and then it sends an email to the client. Again, like I used to say, I didn't touch anything. But then something else that it does is, if it was a more of an internal type of call, it goes ahead and analyzes the sentiment of the call and also creates a document for us, all directly after your meeting ends. This was a quick one, but pretty powerful and pretty quick to set up. Again, back to you, Danny.
Thanks, Ruan. But yeah, it's really cool. And I think you saw a quick teaser of the workflow, so we're gonna touch on that soon. But there's just a quick takeaway that I want to go over. When you set this up, you can have it running within your next meeting today. I mean, we're talking about you click to sign up for the note taker, and it's going to go ahead and ask for some authentication, and it can then be auto invited to your next meetings for yourself or for the team members that you want to have this tool. And because it's all within Monday's AI ecosystem, it's a lot easier and probably the easiest and most immediate win that your team can probably implement today. So when you connect Notetaker to the Monday agents, your meetings aren't just getting recorded, they can now trigger actions. So imagine finishing a call, having the next steps automatically assigned, updating your CRM, and then sent to the right people without even having to lift a finger. This is where technology is moving to, and what we're calling a zero-touch system that eliminates all the busy work and returns time for things that actually matter. So now the workflows, kind of as you saw previously. So the best way to think about workflows is imagine all the different repetitive multi-step tasks that your team does on autopilot every day. You know, the ones that are kind of eating all your time, but doesn't actually require a human brain. Well, that's exactly what the Monday AI workflows are built to handle because they create AI-powered workflows that seamlessly automate multi-step repetitive tasks on Monday.com. And the best part is that you don't have to build them manually because Monday took it to the next level where you can just simply prompt or describe your situation and it just builds it for you. So it's an automation that actually thinks and it's already inside a platform you're already using. So I'm going to show you another example of just the workflow functioning and how it can provide you value.
This is AI workflows. And what it does is lets you describe an entire end-to-end process in plain language. And Monday.com builds the logic for you. As for our demo, we'll be using an IT support ticket management use case. Now, we also created a simple form here just to submit any new upcoming tickets. Now, this is very important since the AI workflow that we're going to be creating, it's going to run within this board right here. So if we go here to the left-hand side and click AI workflows, you should be able to see this interface right here where it says, let's build your workflow, describe any work process and what should become a workflow in seconds. So the prompt that we'll be using, it's this one right here. It says manage and track incoming IT support requests. When a new ticket is submitted via form, automatically assign it to a team member based on issue type. Update the status to in progress and notify the assigned person. If the ticket is unresolved after 3 days, escalate it by notifying team lead and changing the priority to critical. So we can just go ahead and simply click build workflow. As you can see, it's going to start analyzing our prompt, analyzing the requests, and it looks something like this. So when form is submitted, that's the trigger. We assign the ticket to a member based on the issue type. I'm assigning myself here for the demo purposes. We update the status to in progress, notify assigned person, and there's the wait for 3 days. And we check if the ticket is unresolved, even using AI with the logic here. If it's still unresolved, we notify the team lead for an escalation and we change the priority to critical. So we can go ahead and just make sure that it's active. Now we can go back to our board for IT support ticket management, you can just go ahead and create a new submission here. So let's go ahead and hit submit. Go back to the main table. You'll be able to see the new item here. Status was automatically changed to in progress. Priority was set to medium by using AI. It also got the issue type using AI. They submitted and it was automatically assigned to me in this case. So the workflow, we can check the runs. As you can see here, it's in the phase of waiting for the 3 days that we set right here. So what this means for an IT team is that triage is no longer a manual process. The system is doing the routing, the prioritization, and the follow-up as well. So your team can focus entirely on actually solving problems.
Alrighty. So that's what the workflows can do. And as you saw, that was probably like 5 minutes worth of effort. And that's kind of the point of all these tools is that they're not supposed to be this huge mundane task or monumental task that's going to take an entire team to set up. The point is that you are given the power and essentially the keys to the Ferrari to start driving around and building out these solutions for yourself and for the rest of your organization. So just a quick takeaway on the workflow is that what used to require a full dedicated admin team to handle all the manual tasks now just happen. That's what it meant that AI is doing the work for you. And I'm not sure if you guys need experts anymore now that we have all these AI tools. But I'm just kidding. This just means that our services are also evolving with AI, meaning our team can take our execution to the next level and bring you value faster than ever before. Essentially, less clicking and more doing, whether with if it's with us or with your team internally. And lastly, AI blocks. You could even say that they're the building blocks of everything that we've been showing you today. So I just want you to think about how much time your team spends every week on work that time is basically wasted on. Copy pasting data between columns, categorizing the tickets, summarizing long update threads, translating messages between international clients. None of that really requires creativity or judgment. It just requires someone's time. And that's exactly what AI blocks are going to eliminate because they're the engine running underneath almost everything else that we've been showing you today, powering the automations, the workflows, the columns all in one place. And they work across every single industry, every team size, every use case you can think of without requiring any specialized tech skills. So I'm going to show you a quick demo on that as well.
So let me show you something that saves our legal and operations teams a serious amount of time. Every time a new contract gets uploaded to this board, our AI columns automatically get to work. No manual review, no copy pasting. The AI reads the document and populates the information for you. Right here, I have a sample document, which is a commercial real estate vendor agreement. And as you can see, it's just going to take a matter of seconds where it starts to populate all the information. As you can see, we successfully extracted the name of the parties, the agreement type, renewal date, and the extracted contract value. As you can see, it says 150,000. If we just real quick have a look at the document, it will just show right here that the contract value is 150,000. So that's the real value of AI blocks. They turn your files into structured, searchable, actionable data automatically.
And there you go. It's pretty straightforward. It doesn't have to be, again, I sounded like a broken record, rocket science. And this is just one simple example. The point of AI blocks is that there's probably a block for that. You could even use the custom block feature to write any prompt in your own words and have AI handle the rest, which means that the possibilities are genuinely limitless. And also, hint, hint, some AI blocks can now even connect to the web, making research even easier or automated. Or for those marketing teams that want to do like post generation or post research or competitive analysis, you can probably start using some of those blocks as well for that. And look, I'm a business owner, and honestly, the work that slows your team down the most isn't the big projects. I actually think that it's usually the hundreds of small, repetitive tasks that quietly eat hours every week. It's almost like death by a thousand paper cuts. And so AI blocks handle all of that automatically so your team's time goes where it actually matters. And I just wanted to give you not even a hypothetical solution. I wanted to give you a real life example of something that we built proprietary for our construction clients. I wish I could show it, but it is proprietary and we have some NDAs. But imagine this. You're a construction company and you get something called a request for bid because construction companies can't just go work on some project. They actually have to compete with other construction companies. And so a lot of times they get hundreds, if not thousands, of emails every day, where some of those emails may potentially be those requests for bids from the contractors. And instead of having a full-time staff team member or a full staff itself to just manually review and research all of these emails, you can instead use something like Monday Service where you can take the emails, slap them into Monday, turn them into items, and then have AI auto categorize them for us and determine which one is the request for bid, so an RFQ. And then from there, if we know it's a request for bid, extract the information from the PDF and or the email body, and then use the AI blocks to then get that information, then use an AI agent to then turn that into a document using some calculations to then generate a custom quote, and then have a human review the quote and then send it out once it's approved to the potential client or potential project. And it completely eliminates having all this full-time staff admin work and actually allows the team to be enabled to do things that are of value. So in this case, it would be actually reviewing the code to make sure it's good rather than all of this redundant work that doesn't really need human creativity or judgment. And I know that everything we've walked through you today, like the vibes, the agents, the sidekick, the workflows, the note takers, the blocks, there's so many tools. I think by next year it's going to be a whole rap song like Eminem, just like all these different tools, but none of it is built for a specific type of business. And that's what makes it really cool, is that this ecosystem is very different because it can apply to almost, if not everyone. And because these tools are horizontal by design, they can adapt to your team's work in your industry, solving your specific problems, and they're not forcing your business into some pre-built cookie cutter solution. It's more like instead of you molding into Monday, Monday is molding into you and your needs. And that's really the point that I want to leave with you here today, that the use cases we've shown you today are just the beginning. They're meant to spark ideas, not limit them. So, whatever your team is spending time on that doesn't require human creativity or judgment, there's probably a Monday AI tool that can handle it for you. And so, the question isn't really, does this apply to my team needs or my industry or my company? The question really should be, where and how do we want to start? And we've made it easier than ever to identify where these products can fit into your workflows without spending a single credit experimenting. You'll actually be given access to an AI audit guide that we've created, loaded with the tools to evaluate your workflows, discussions to have with your team, and a four-part framework to break down your AI opportunities. And the guide that we're providing here and in the follow-up email, we'll be sending alongside with the recording is industry agnostic. So we do have some tailored guides, so they can still apply pretty horizontally, but we also have some guides specifically for law, construction, marketing, sales teams, and real estate. And if you like any copy of those specific guides, please reply to Kiki's emails later today and she will send them to you. And just finally, before we move on to our Q&A session, I just wanted to touch on how we can personally help you if you do require that assistance. Now that you have seen how all the tools can essentially transform your business, there is just one thing to know, which is how do you know what to build? What are the possibilities? And how do you start implementing this for your business without taking weeks or months to figure it out? And that's exactly where we come in. We're the people to roll up their sleeves and build this stuff for you. So if any of you saw, if if anything that you saw today made you think like, oh wow, maybe this could work for us, that's the type of conversation we want to have. So go ahead and book some time with us and we'll be available to answer your questions or concerns and do a much more deeper audit guide or just essentially training session to help your team get enabled for these tools. And finally, remember, it's not you versus AI, it's AI plus you. And by the way, I'm not an AI agent, I'm a real human being. Thank you.